The golden haze of a Los Angeles dusk filtered through the palm-fringed windows of the El Capitan Theater, casting elongated shadows across the bustling lot where fans clustered like eager extras awaiting their cue, their chatter a symphony of excitement laced with the faint scent of street tacos from nearby vendors. It was May 28, 2025, and Samuel L. Jackson, the indomitable force of cinema whose unmistakable voice had thundered through blockbusters from Pulp Fiction's righteous fury to the MCU's unyielding Nick Fury, was set to grace Jimmy Kimmel Live with his larger-than-life presence. At 76, Jackson remained a cultural colossus, his salt and pepper beard meticulously groomed, dressed in a crisp black button-down that accentuated his broad shoulders and a pair of aviators perched on his nose like a shield against the glare of fame's relentless spotlight. He'd jetted in from Atlanta, where he'd wrapped voice work for a secretive animated spin-off of his snake-charming exploits in the upcoming Snakes on a Plane, Venomous Voyage, a meta-sequel blending nostalgia with nods to his trailblazing legacy. The crowd outside swelled as his chauffeured Maybach purred to a halt, Jackson emerging with that signature swagger, part streetwise cool from his Chattanooga roots, part Hollywood gravitas, high-fiving outstretched hands and flashing a grin that revealed teeth as sharp as his one-liners. "What's good, y'all? Keepin' it real tonight," he boomed, his baritone eliciting whoops and chants of "motherfucka," a playful echo of his most infamous ad-lib that still sent ripples of delight through devotees. Security parted the sea of admirers clutching faded Shaft posters and Captain America shields, ushering him into the labyrinthine backstage where the green room beckoned like a VIP lounge. Platters of fried chicken wings extra spicy, per his rider a chilled case of Mother's Milk energy drinks, and a stack of fresh scripts for his directorial debut, a hard-hitting biopic on civil rights firebrand Medgar Evers titled, Echoes of Evers. Sipping his brew, Jackson thumbed through his phone, liking fan theories about Fury's post-Endgame arc and texting his wife LaTanya, "This promo grind's got me missin' our quiet nights, home soon, baby." The door swung open with a flourish, and in bounded Guillermo Rodriguez, Kimmel's irrepressible sidekick, clad in his security vest and wielding a prop lightsaber from a Star Wars bit. "Senor Samuel, you gonna say the line? I've had it with these motherfuckin' interviews." Guillermo's mimicry was spot on, drawing Jackson's deep, rumbling laugh that filled the room like bass from a subwoofer. "Guillermo, you slick, only if you arm wrestle me first. Loser buys the wings." The impromptu match ensued, Jackson letting the underdog win with exaggerated defeat, slapping Guillermo's back as the crew howled, the moment a bomb against the jet-lag fog. As the on-air light pulsed to life, the audience of 300, a vibrant mix of industry hopefuls, comedy nerds, and die-hard Marvelites, settled into their seats, the house band kicking off with a funky bass line that nodded to Jackson's soulful influences. Jimmy Kimmel sauntered out under the Klieg lights, his lanky frame in a tailored navy suit, microphone in hand like a scepter, drawing roars with his opening salvo. "Welcome to Jimmy Kimmel Live, tonight, the man who's yelled more profanities than I've got regrets, Samuel L. Jackson." The thunderclap of applause crested as Jackson bounded on stage, enveloping Jimmy in a hug that could crush walnuts, the duo's chemistry crackling like static, two survivors of the entertainment wars trading barbs with the ease of old sparring partners. Plunking onto the guest couch with authoritative bounce, Jackson adjusted his aviators' legs crossed casually, the set's electric blue backdrop framing him like a comic book panel. Jimmy dove in smoothly, "Sam, you're looking fierce, what's the secret at 76? Golf, or just out hyping the young bloods?" Jackson's retort was lightning quick, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Jimmy, it's simple, I don't retire. Unlike some hosts I know, dodgin' Oscars gigs like they're kryptonite." The crowd erupted, loving the affectionate jab at Kimmel's past monologue mishaps, and the interview unfurled like a well-rehearsed jam session, Jackson dissecting the Snakes sequel with vivid flair, recounting how he'd improvised a line about eco-terrorist pythons that had the writers scrambling to bleep it. Directors like, "Sam, PG-13. I say, man, these snakes ain't PG, they're straight-up venomous vengeance." Jimmy leaned in, timing impeccable, vengeance. Like Fury assembling the Avengers for a snake purge. Spill, any cameos from Travolta? The banter flowed, laced with clips from Jackson's reel, a supercut of his epic monologues synced to hip-hop beats, drawing cheers as he narrated along in real time, his cadence hypnotic. Co-guests, a rising R&B sensation named Jada Royale with her honeyed vocals and a veteran comedian, Reggie Fontaine, puffing a prop cigar, chimed in seamlessly, Jada gushing, "Mr. Jackson, your voice in The Incredibles, Lucius Fox. Iconic. How do you voice super without being one?" Reggie added, Sam, from blaxploitation to blockbusters, you paved the lane. What's the wildest set beef you've seen? Jackson's tales mesmerized. The Time on Hateful Eight, when Tarantino let him rewrite a scene on the fly, turning tension into Tarantino gold, or how mentoring young stars like John Boyega had reignited his fire for the game. Kids today got talent, but they need that grit. Tell 'em, motherfucker, earn it. The room warmed with shared reverence, the cameras capturing every nuance. The subtle crinkle of Jackson's forehead during a nod to racial reckonings in Hollywood, Jimmy's laugh lines deepening in genuine admiration. Yet, as the chat veered toward current events, Jimmy teasing Jackson's recent ex-rants on industry diversity, the air hummed with an undercurrent of volatility, the ghost of unfiltered truths lurking like an unscripted plot twist. Jackson's posture remained relaxed, but his fingers tapped a rhythmic Morse code on the armrest, a harbinger of the eruption to come, the stage primed for a collision of unbridled authenticity and late-night levity. The commercial breaks curtain lifted like a veil on a powder keg, the studio's spotlights snapping back to vivid life as the audience's applause swelled anew, a rhythmic pulse underscoring the return to the fray where Jackson lounged like a lion post-nap, his energy undimmed, while Jimmy perched on his desk with the poise of a tightrope walker mid-stride. Jada Royale, her sequined dress catching the light like disco confetti, kicked off the post-break vibe with effervescent zeal. Sam, your activism, from NAACP spots to calling out Oscar snubs, it's fire. What's next for the fight? Her sincerity pierced the gloss, prompting Jackson to uncross his legs and lean forward, his voice a gravelly sermon that commanded silence. Jada, it's endless, Hollywood's diverse on paper, but power. Still whiter than a Django plantation scene. We push, or we perish. Reggie Fontaine nodded gravely, exhaling a theatrical puff from his unlit cigar. Preach, brother. I remember your 1408 ghost hunt, scarier than boardroom diversity meetings. The panel's harmony resonated, the crowd murmuring affirmations. He's right, as Jimmy orchestrated with a sly pivot. Diversity, Sam, speaking of pushing boundaries, we've got a clip from your early days, pre-pulp, when you were hustling. Off-Broadway. Roll it. The massive screen flickered alive, beaming grainy footage of a young Jackson in a dimly lit theater, delivering a raw monologue from a forgotten 80s play, his intensity raw and unpolished, sweat beading under harsh house lights. The audience chuckled warmly at first, Jada cooing, "Baby Sam, so fierce." But Jimmy's follow-up carried a sharper edge. Look at that hunger, reminds me of your snakes vibe. But come on, Sam, those early gigs, word as you clashed with directors left and right. Temper of a fury, huh? Spill the tea, what's the wildest blow-up? The question landed with a thud, the studio's laughter faltering into puzzled titters, Jackson's aviators slipping down his nose as he fixed Jimmy with a stare that could melt steel, those piercing eyes, honed by decades of embodying unbreakable resolve, now narrowing to slits. Blow up, Jimmy, that's ancient archive, I scrapped for roles when doors were bolted. You callin' that tea? Sounds like shade to me. The air thickened, Reggie's cigar forgotten in his lap, Jada's smile congealing as Jimmy pressed, his grin unwavering but eyes alight with provocateur's glee. Shade, nah, legend building, but seriously, Sam, your rants on X about woke remakes, you torch that. Shaft, reboot. Hypocrite much, pushing diversity but dissing the new blood. The accusation echoed, a spark to dry tinder, the crowd gasping as phones emerged like fireflies, capturing the shift. Jackson's laugh was a bark, short and scorched, his hand slapping the couch arm with resonant smack. Hypocrite, boy, I earned my stripes. Shaft was my lane, not some sanitized reboot chasing algorithms. You twistin' words for clicks. That's the real shade, host with the most regrets. Jimmy leaned back, palms up in mock surrender. Easy, Sam, it's banter. But Fareed say, assemble the facts. Your Super Bowl bit, Colin Kendrick, too ghetto. Bold, even for you. The reference to Jackson's halftime cameo, a satirical Uncle Sam skewering cultural divides, ignited the fuse, Jackson's face flushing mahogany under the gels, his voice rising like a tidal wave. Too ghetto, that was satire, Jimmy, mirroring the mess, not making it. You reducin' my life's work to gotcha games. I've buried friends to crack, fought for seats at tables you sip from. This ain't interview, it's ambush. The studio froze, the house band's drummer suspending a cymbal crash midair, Reggie's eyes darting like a referee in a brawl, Jada whispering, oh snap, to no one. Jimmy, sensing the skid, quipped, ambush. More like Avengers assemble for truth. Audience, Sam or Jimmy, Who's got the high ground? A smattering of cheers split the room, half for the host's pluck, half for Jackson's fire, but the mood soured like milk left in the sun. Jackson's fingers drummed faster now, a war beat, his retort slicing clean. High ground. I've climbed mountains, you joke from mountaintops. Legacy ain't a punchline, it's the blood, sweat, and motherfuckin' scars. The profanity slipped unbleeped, drawing oohs and nervous giggles, the co-guests petrified as the exchange escalated from spar to skirmish. Jimmy doubled down, voice steady but laced with challenge. Scars. Sam, we all got 'em, mine from your epic roasts. But dodging questions. That's not fury, that's evasion. The word, evasion, hung like smoke, Jackson's chair creaking as he shifted, body language screaming standoff, the director's frantic signals from the booth ignored amid the gathering storm. Whispers cascaded through the seats, he's going off. Jimmy pushed too far. As the live feed captured every charged second, the once lighthearted segment unraveling into raw revelation, Jackson's unyielding integrity clashing against Kimmel's arsenal of irreverence, the precipice of walkout looming. Like a cliffhanger cut too short. The tension crested in a heartbeat, the studio's atmosphere electric with the scent of impending legend, as Jackson's exhale hissed like steam from a pressure valve, his aviators discarded on the coffee table with deliberate clatter, revealing eyes ablaze with the unquenchable fire of a man who'd stared down typecasting and triumphed. Evasion. Jimmy, I've evaded bullets and scripts, not truths, my truths in the trenches, from Vietnam vets in Jungle Fever to mentoring kids in Compton. You wanna dissect? Start with your own mirror. Late-night kings peddlin' laughs over justice. The salvo boomed, the audience inhaling as one, Jada's hand clutching her necklace like a talisman, Reggie's cigar rolling forgotten to the floor in the hush. Jimmy, his casual slouch evaporating into rigid poise, countered with raised brows, the host's timbre threading defensiveness through humor. Justice. Sam, this is comedy, not court, though you'd make a helluva judge. But that Kendrick jab, even Fareed call it low blow. The callback to the Super Bowl satire, a biting critique of cultural commodification, fueled the inferno, Jackson surging halfway from his seat, frame towering despite the confines, voice a thunderclap that rattled mics. Low blow. That's projection, pal, I've elevated the game while you navigate the noise. Turn my advocacy into ammo. Nah, I'm done fuelin' this farce. The declaration landed like a mic drop, the crowd fracturing into factions. Fervent applause for Jackson's stand thundering from the back rows, mingled with Joyce and cheers for Jimmy's tenacity, phones a constellation of recorders etching the melee into digital eternity. The house band held breath, drummers' sticks hovering, as Whoopi, wait, no, Guillermo from the wings attempted a desperate diversion, yelling, Senor Sam, sing, good vibrations, peace. But his plea drowned in the din. Jackson's retort formed swift and searing, peace. Earned it in, a time to kill, not here with half-baked jabs. Respect the chair, or vacate it. Jimmy, cornered yet combative, fired a final flare, vacate. Sam, that's your move, storm off like a boss. Doors that way, don't let it hit you on the way to the helicarrier. The quip, laced with Marvel mockery, snapped the last thread, Jackson rising fluidly to his full, imposing height, the couch sighing in relief as he straightened his shirt with regal disdain. Helicarrier, I'd rather crash it than clown here. Y'all have a good night. Keep watchin' the watchers. He pivoted with purposeful grace, striding past Jada, who he paused to uplift with a gentle fist bump. Keep singin', Queen, your voice heals, and Reggie, who offered a solemn nod, legend status, UNC. The audience's ovation swelled chaotic, a tidal roar of support laced with shock, half standing in tribute as Jackson vanished into the wings, the doors swing a punctuation mark on the pandemonium. Jimmy, mic clutched white-knuckled, segued to break with a shaky chuckle, well, folks, that's Sam, unfiltered and unforgettable. More after this, if we survive. Backstage, a whirlwind engulfed Jackson, publicist with tablet aglow, Sam, TMZ's blowing up, spin is, bold boundaries. Assistant thrusting his jacket, but he waved them aside, sinking onto a stool with a gusty sigh, the fire banked to embers. Call LaTanya, tell her the show's overrated. Brew some tea, real talk needs recovery. On set, Jimmy pivoted to a filler bit on viral puppy fails, his grin a veneer over the adrenaline quake, confiding off mic to producers, holy hell, ratings apocalypse but damn if it ain't electric. The digital realm detonated instantaneously, hashtag Jackson Kimmel clash exploding across X and TikTok, clips vivisected, the aviator toss at 3:47, Jimmy's quip at 4:22, amassing 10 m. Views in hours, debates raging from, Sam's a goat, Kimmel crossed the line. 68B56C to, staged for buzz. Classic Hollywood smoke. 4 Candela's 61E pundits piled on. Variety hailing Jackson's unapologetic authenticity, Deadline decrying Jimmy's boundary blur, while fan edits sync the walkout to Ezekiel 25:17, viraling with prophetic flair. In the ripple's wake, bridges rebuilt subtly. Jimmy's next monologue a gracious nod, Sam, you're the real hero, come back, sans the storm, echoed by Jackson's IG reel of Evers' biopic set photos, captioned, truth over tea, scars build, don't break. The fracas etched indelibly into lore, a visceral vignette of icon versus industry, Jackson's ejection not defeat but declaration, fame's forged tempers titans, where clashes carve canyons deeper than any script. For in the aftermath, viewers glimpsed the man beyond the myth, a warrior whose walk-off whispered volumes on valor, leaving late night's throne a tad more humbled, and Hollywood's Hall of Fame a shade more hallowed.